Because they're the best. They're fast, right? They're fast. So we hear feedback on that. You know, it's great to do a big hole fast. That's what you want to do. But when we look at the designs out here, we don't believe a technical company's come up with it. We believe more of a marketing company. Starting with the threading of it, it is a good pilot point, but the way this thing feeds, you really have to force it down. The cutter systems on these things are one cutter, and the bit actually jams up. I don't know if you guys have experienced that. We're going to try to illustrate it to you. And then they're made with cast iron. Could you imagine making any kind of car part out of cast iron? So we felt like from a technical standpoint, there's a lot of opportunity for us to go after this thing. The first thing we did is with the threading of it, we actually designed it where it starts at a pilot and pulls the bit into it, right? The second thing we did is put a two cutter system that you can see these openings through it that the wood chips extract through it and pulls it out. And the last thing is this is heat forged, just like all your quality car parts, hand tools, everything that's out there in metal, because we want to make sure that it starts sharp and cuts a lot of long-term sharp, right? So that's the idea. So we'll guarantee twice the life, twice the speed, and it's beautiful with battery performance because it's going to extend the life of the battery, all right? So guys, help me out here a little bit. How do we illustrate this?
So what we have here is pressure-treated lumber, 4x6. We're using Makita drills to make some hole into this wood. 3 holes, that's the target. We're using handles on our drills, but we will not apply any pressure, just let the self-feed bits do the work. I'm using the new DIABLO Speed Demon self-feed bit. The size is 2 9/16 of an inch.
I'm using the Milwaukee switchblade, 2 9/16, 7/16 shank. We have the same speed, we're on low, and 21 torque, so everything is the same.
Okay, before you start, so we're going to do 3 quick holes on here. Notice the way the bit is going to pull itself in, and then the way we're on the same line is 3/4 of an inch, just so you can actually visibly see it, and hopefully you're going to see the difference of the quality cut. So are you ready, guys? 1, 2, 3, go. Great
piece of wood.
We got the top price. Okay, so as you can see, both are pretty brutal drilling, and I think our battery might be a little bit lower on that, but at the end of the day, hopefully you can see the speed, and we encourage you guys to come here and try this afterwards. So, okay, excellent. So let's go to our circular saw blades. About 2 years ago, we took the #1 selling saw blade in the world, and we redesigned it. And you think about a circular saw blade with the way the teeth are, they're pulling left and right. And when you're cutting 5,500 RPMs, you're creating tension. And when the blade is wobbling, it's draining the battery, it's putting more pressure on your motor itself, it's screaming, it's yelling, and it's dulling. So to counter this, we put every third tooth what's called tracking point, which is like a rudder on a boat. It keeps the blade cutting straight and true, therefore reducing vibration significantly. So that technology is super cool. But if you look at the 6.5 inch saws, how many people have a 6.5 saw, right? So you're not alone. In fact, it's 5 out of every 10 saws are 6.5 inch, and the fastest growing segment out there. So what we're going to do is illustrate this. We now put this technology in a 6.5 inch tool, And you're gonna see not only it lasts longer, but it extends the life of your battery. In fact, a $10 saw blade can extend your battery by 65%. And when power tools companies are talking about lithium ion, they're like, hey, buy this $200, $250 new lithium ion, we can extend the battery life by 6 or 7%. A $10 saw blade can increase it by 65%, which is dramatic. So guys, to illustrate this, what are we gonna do?
Well, Russell, I am using Makita's 6.5-inch platform here with DeWalt's premium 6.5-inch blade right now. And what we'll be doing to illustrate this is we are going through some 2x pressure treated with a bunch of drywall screws here.
I'll be cutting with our new 6.5-inch tracking point.
Great. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go.
Here is just bogging down.
All right, awesome. So what happened? What does the blade look like right now?
I mean, as you can hear, mine was a pretty rough cut. A lot of the teeth are rounded over. We lost, I think, a couple here. I'm not entirely sure, but it was a hard cut. I mean, you could see me pushing it through, especially with this wet pressure-treated lumber and hitting those drywall screws. They spark, they're case hard, and they're hard. And when you have something going through that and the motor's working so hard that these tools are designed to turn off and the batteries are drained.
Yeah. Blair?
Tracking point cut consistently, effortlessly. The drywall screws are extra hard, especially when you initially impact them, but all the tips look fine and it's good to make more cuts.
Ready to go. All right, good. And afterwards, we encourage you guys to check this thing out. You know, we put these anti-vibration. This is a current design on the market. It's dancing, it's vibrating left and right. But when it comes to this new tracking point with our stabilizers, you know, it accepts the vibration and traps the dance. And so when you're cutting this kind of debris, that is critical. So if you look at cutting metal, and this is an area I think all of us can go out and communicate to the world that there's a better solution than bonded in cutting steel. How many people cut with an angle grinder before? Right? That's it? All right, maybe we just show a quick cut. So we're not going to bore you with this, but about 95% of the market cuts steel with a wheel like this today. You guys get it. You get it. So Walker here earlier did a cut with this for less than 30 seconds, and this wheel's already lost over an inch of its dimension. So what happens when it starts wearing down?
You lose diameter.
You lose your diameter. And so what does the user do? Take the guard off. This thing can spit up to 15,000 RPM, so you take a bad situation, you make it worse. And cutting steel, the best way to do it is still in a circular motion. So what we did is we came up with real technology. We think it's going to get our customers home safer. But here's the problem. You get 10 out of 10 people use their standard circular saw blade and they go, yeah, sure, okay, fine, that lasts longer. But it's $60, it's $70. My bonded wheel is $4 or $5. I'm not going to spend $60 on a blade. So what we did, we introduced, thank you, sir, is we came up with CerMet technology, which is a ceramic metallic blend that can accept the heat for cutting steel much longer. We make this, we're priming it. And then what we did is reduce the price point from $60, $70 to $30. Now we're in that striking zone. And what we're getting is a 250x factor versus bonded. And it costs $30. Now people are like, okay, I can save almost $1,000. And guess what? I can, not burn myself and get, cause issues. So guys, how are we going to illustrate this?
I'll be using that same Makita 6.5-inch platform. This time I will be using a MK Morris 6.5-inch metal cutting saw.
Yeah, and I didn't mention too, so Carbide out there, we have it too as well. Carbide for cutting metal is a good solution, but it just can't withstand the heat. And so the problem you have is from a performance standpoint, it costs a lot of money and it dulls quickly. And so we're going to compare quickly is Carbide solution that's on the marketplace with ceramic blend, Cermet. Okay? So
Okay, we're cutting with the same 6.5-inch Makita saws, their base model saw. I'll be cutting with our new 6.5-inch Cermet blade. The material we're cutting is 2-inch by 3-inch with a 1/4-inch wall, 304 stainless steel tubing.
You're good.
3, 2,
So, pretty unbelievable. Just think about it. You can walk around with a $119 saw, $30 blade, rebar, stainless steel, anything you want on a job site. It really makes it a game changer when it comes to cutting metal and steel. Still the safest way, best polished, highest quality way to cut steel. Cool? And we, as a group, have the opportunity to switch the market from bonded to this solutions now. All right, awesome. Thanks, guys. All right, let's transition into reciprocating blades. Now, through a lot of you guys' help, about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, we changed the market in reciprocating blades by coming out the first carbide tip, nail embedded blade on the market, right? How many guys have used this type of product? Oh, yeah. Right? Killer? Killer. When carbide comes in a category, it completely takes over. Look at circular saw blades, router bits, hammer bits. It's all carbide, right? Not ball bearings, but carbide. And so this has been a lot of fun for us to do. And since then, we've introduced 5 additional categories. So we have 6 categories in carbide tip recip blades. Pruning, nail embedded wood, general purpose, thick metal, medium metal, and thin metal. So pretty killer. The rest of the market's trying to introduce 2. We're at 6, and we're going to continue the momentum. So much so, today, we're going to introduce 3 more categories, or a 50% increase, continue to be the architects and hopefully having a clear vision where we want to take this down the road. All right, so the first thing we want to talk about is something that's really radical, especially from a technical design, and that is to cut thin conduit or tubing. So right now in the market, we have a medium metal, which is great for cutting medium materials, and then we have a thin sheet metal. But there's really not a solution for cutting conduit. And the problem is when you don't have the proper amount of teeth in this, you get vibration, it jumps on you, you lose teeth, and you lose life, right? And the quality of finish gets terrible. So to counter this, we have 12 teeth per inch, right? So put that in perspective. Right now, 10 is the maximum. So because his teeth are so little, and to fit them in the small area is very tricky, very complicated, and not so easy to do. All right, so guys, to illustrate this technology, how are we going to do it?
Sure, so we have a thin wall piece of stainless steel tubing here, 1/16 of an inch. I'll be using the Milwaukee Carbide Torch 7 TPI. We'll be using Makita saws here, 36 volt with 5 pounds of weight.
I'll be using the Diablo, first in the industry, 12 PPI thin metal for tubing and conduit.
And what you'll see, we'll feather the kerf, and then we'll kick it off after that.
3 up, 2 down.
Yep, on your count.
3, 2, 1.
I mean, when you have not enough teeth, it jumps, it butts on you. It's radical. It's not a great thing, and it just kills your quality cut. So now, for electrician, for anybody cutting thin tubing, this is the right blade for it all day long. Good stuff. First in the market, first in the world. You guys are first to see it, which is pretty cool. All right, you want to see something else new first?
Yeah.
All right, the thick metal blade that we introduced, we called it the game changer. Right, you guys got behind this thing. This one we worked with first responders and cutting boron steel. The Master Lock came out with a padlock that said you cannot cut this. You cannot break into this lock. We cut in 15 seconds. It just goes on and on what this thing can do. I'm not going to mention there's some political things going on right now that this blade will actually do. But it's just really badass. If you guys read that story, great. So a lot of fun behind this technology. It costs $11. And you can cut almost anything out there. I mean, literally can walk up to a car and cut right into it, right? So pretty killer. But the feedback we get is that we want more. We want more extreme, and more automobile makers are investing in these boron or advanced steels because they're lighter weight and more fuel efficient. And so that's going to continue to tax our current technology in its ability to be able to handle that. So to counter that, we've introduced a new product called Steel Demon Amped, and it lasts double the life of our existing metal cutting design. It's going to, instead of $11, it'll be $15, right? Not a big deal, but double the performance, and it'll be extreme. So in order to show something extreme, Logan, we got a demo of extreme.
We do. We have 2-inch solid cast iron rod here. Again, we'll be using a 7 TPI torch over here with carbide teeth, 36-volt Makita, 10 pounds of weight. And Mike?
I'll be using the new Diablo thick metal carbide tipped amped with black ice.
Yeah, with black ice. Okay, I mentioned that. So you're like, okay, why? Okay, it's called black ice. So we're putting this black ice coating on here. This is aluminum, titanium, nitride coating that significantly reduces the heat. So you're not going to see a faster cut, but the speed is going to maintain, and that's the point, right? So life is affected with speed. We want to maintain the speed, and you're going to see that a standard blade will start good and then die, and it will continue. So when you're ready, I might count. 1, 2, 3, go. So killer, right? I mean, $15 now you can do this application. I mean, it's just insane. Now our standard blades, metal cutting, last 5 times longer than anybody else in the market. This will be additional 2. So for $15, I mean, you're getting a 10x factor or anything else. Killer technology. All right, one last thing we're going to talk about from a carbide technology is the first in the world scroll blade. You guys get it, right? It's for tight contours. It's really good for like hardy material and also that new Wonder Board or Smart Board. All good for that, but any application, this is going to be great for you to do this tight radiuses. A whole new category, right? And trust me, technically, this is not easy to make. All right, so we're going to move over here, and we're going to talk about
when you're drilling in reinforced concrete, as soon as you hit that rebar, it's going to generate extreme heat. And we can see that. This is the bit that actually that's the competitive bit. You can see the red ring. But this is the bit that I just drilled with. You can see how hot that is. And that was heating then cooling it off, and then drilling through the rebar. So we simply use the torch to heat it up to simulate what happens. That's real life. If they put the drill down, they clean out their hole, it cools down. From the competition, what happens is, when I go back to drill a second hole, as soon as Brian touched that concrete, it's sheared off. You have steel, you have carbide, and you have that interaction of heat and cooling. If it's not prepared right, if it's not bonded or welded correctly, then that's when you're going to see the failure.
So your bits are going to drill right through concrete and hit rebar and drill through the rebar?
That's correct.
And do you guys make a hollow one also, or no?
For the dust collection?
Yeah.
So that, the dust collection is out there. And so, yes, absolutely, we're going to continue to bring innovation where there's the opportunity to take care of that.
All right, guys, so DIABLO basically now has a new SDS bit that is heat resistant and able to drill right through rebar. So in this demonstration here, they used the competitor's bit and they heated them both up. And this one, the competitor's bit snapped right away as soon as it hit the concrete. Personally, I've never seen that happen, but that's what happened in this demonstration. So they were demoing their bit, able to take all that heat, take all that metal, and just be reused. How long, what's the life expectancy on this?
Life expectancy?
Yeah,
on
life
that bit,
expectancy.
It all depends on the aggregate and then what size rebar.
Let's say I got no rebar. How many holes am I going to be able to drill?
Well, it's going to be multiple holes, but I can't say 100% because rebar changes in hardness, the situation, whether you're
Are
overhead.
you touting that you're stronger than the competitor?
I am touting that we're stronger than the competitors. We're going to last longer.
What's the warranty, or is there a warranty? That's not your warranty.
Yeah, exactly.
Price point.
Price point, same as where you see the industry today. Yep. So we're going to bring innovation at that same price point.
All right, cool.
All right. So watch out, guys. We're going to heat them up a little bit just to simulate it so you can see it. Back it up a little bit. Back it up a little bit more. Just want to get about the same like it is. Perfect. All right. Down a little bit. Okay. There you go. All right, I'll let you cool off first. All right, so I'll give you a head start so they can see it. Let me get this out of the way. You don't even need to put it on the rebar, just put it on the stick. There it is. So there's the tip. Okay, so you want to pick a rebar? Any of them? You want me to go all the way through? You just want me to go all the way down the rebar?
Just
Okay. So now I'm all the way down the rebar. Tip's still on, ready to go. I can continue.
how long would it take to go through the rebar?
2 minutes.
Let's go through the rebar.
Let's go through the rebar. All right, Dan.
After we drill through concrete again one more time?
Yeah.
Just concrete.
All right.
see that tip. All right. That's impressive. Where's that water?
For more exciting tool action, go to toolsinaction.com.